So let's look at what a polynomial is and some definitions we use with polynomials. So first off, what a polynomial is. It is an expression where all variables have whole number exponents. Whole number exponents. So what we're talking about is things involving, like we've done before, x, but also if you have x squared or x cubed, x to the fourth, so forth. So expressions involving those types of variables with those types of exponents. So no negative exponents, no fractional exponents. It has to be whole numbers. Notice too, if we throw a number in front, x to the 0 power, which remember that is always 1. So constants also are considered polynomials. Because if we have, let's say, 12x to the 0 power, that's the same as just 12. So that still is considered a polynomial because the exponent is 0. Next, the degree of the term. Degree of the term is the sum of exponents of all variables. Sum of exponents of all variables. And remember what the term means. What the word term means is an expression all multiplied together. Could be different coefficients and variables, no plus signs between. So for example, so here's just one term. Something like 7x to the fourth y. So this has a couple different parts, but it's all one term because it's 7 times x to the fourth times y. So the degree of this, the sum of the exponents of all the variables. So if we look at the variables x and y, x has an exponent of 4, y has an exponent of 1, so the degree of this term would be 5. Okay, we'll do some more with that in a second, but first let's define the degree of the polynomial. The degree of a polynomial is the largest degree of all of the terms. Largest degree of all of the terms. So for example, if I have, let's keep our 7x to the fourth y, but let's add in an x, y to the fifth, z squared. So x, y to the fifth, z squared as well. So this actually has two terms. So 7x to the fourth y is a term. X, y to the fifth, z squared is a different term. So if we look at the degree of each of the polynomials, or each of the terms, so the first term has a degree of 5. The next term has a degree of 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So that means my answer for this whole polynomial, it would be degree 8. So it's, you look at each term, what's the degree of each term, and then the degree of the whole polynomial is whatever the largest is. Okay. And not always are we going to have x's and y's. I'm just doing that example to kind of fully point out the example. We'll do some more common basic ones in a minute. A few more definitions first though. Descending order. Descending order means writing the polynomials, or writing the polynomial with the highest degree, term first, down to the lowest down to the lowest. So it means, like the last one we just did, would not be in descending order because you would want to put the term with the degree of 8 first and then the one with degree 5. So let's go to a new page for a couple more definitions. Another one is a monomial. Monomial is a polynomial with one term. With one term. And then next, a binomial is a polynomial with two terms. And the last one that has a special name is a trinomial, which is a polynomial with three terms. So mono, bi, tri. After that, there's not a special name to them. So let's go back to the ones we just did and kind of go back and talk about those. That 7x to the fourth y to the 1, the one that was degree 5 when we looked at just the one term. So this would be considered a monomial. And then the example we did below that when we talked about degree of the polynomial, just like I had underlined with squiggly, this was one term, next one's another term. There's two terms here, so this would be binomial. One more definition, the leading coefficient. Okay, the leading coefficient is, it's the coefficient of the term with the highest degree. Okay, so let's do a couple examples picking out all of these definitions. So first let's do 3x to the fourth plus x to the fifth minus x. So first off, this is not in descending order. So let's put this first in descending order. Oops. So we would look at each term. In this case, I have three terms. X to the fifth needs to come first. Then plus 3x to the fourth, and then minus x. Okay, so now it's in descending order. Well, for one thing, let's pick out the leading coefficient, that definition we just talked about. The leading coefficient, since I put in order, I can see that x to the fifth has the highest degree. It's the term with the highest degree. There's nothing there in front, so remember that's like a leading coefficient of 1. How about the degree of each term? So with it in order now, the degree of the terms, the first one, the degree is 5. Then the next term, the degree is 4, and then the next one is just x, so that's like x to the 1, degree of 1. So that means that the degree of the polynomial would be the highest of those, which is 5. And then last, what type of polynomial this is. Since it has 1, 2, 3 terms, this would be a trinomial. So I think we picked out all the definitions. Let's do one more. How about the polynomial of -8? That's it, just -8. So it's already in descending order. The leading coefficient, sometimes I'll just abbreviate that LC, leading coefficient, well, it would be -8, because remember, you could rewrite this -8x to the 0 power, like we talked about in the beginning of this video. The degree of the only term, which thus would be the degree of the polynomial, would be 0, because that's like x to the 0 power. And then last, this would be a monomial. So that one's a little kind of special, but hopefully that all makes sense.